Ah, there we go. Howdys and salutations, y'all. Still getting used to the slight slowness to the kickoff on this one. Thank y'all for bearing with me while I figure all this stuff out. We're still trying to figure out how we want to do audio and such. Hopefully that's, hopefully that's picking up fairly well. A little better maybe than before. And hopefully it's getting just a hair less echo. We'll see though. We are still tweaking. I also want to apologize that I'm just a hair out of sorts today. Work ran long and life ran long, and I mean, things happen, but the point is that I'm not quite as prepared as I'd like to be for the next one. And while we could do some basic stuff to get started on our next character design, because you better believe we're launching into it at some point here this week, I think that I would rather have the time to have our refs a little more ready on Pinterest, have stuff a little more organized, because I think, as we've seen, launching into a character design without any ideas is not a good plan. So instead of that, I've got, well, actually a couple of ideas that we could do here. We will just sort of see which of them come to us first. I need to write something down. And we will talk about them. Okay, first off, our goal for Siphimir here was 4 hours for a character design. We're currently at 3.5 hours, which technically gives us 30 more minutes to do whatever. Now, I don't know that I want to use the full 30 minutes, but I do think that it would be worth another 15 on the color phase. Not necessarily to change colors or anything like that, but I do think it would be worth cleaning up the colors in some of the lower sections. Because a lot of them ended up very messy. The hair's got border problems, even without the inks. There's all sorts of issues with it. Well, maybe not. I mean, a lot of this stuff's pretty decent. This part's not. This is bad. Like that could. I'd like to have some time to clean that up. A little bit on the bow and stuff. Like, there's nothing crazy. And then maybe a skin tone. Something like that. I don't quite like the gray. I'm gonna keep the glove though. Even if we do 15 more minutes, I'm gonna stick with that. The decision was made, and so it shall remain. Nevertheless, we will continue. We'll do just a little more wrap up on that. And then we've got a couple options. First off, we could move on to the next character. I could give a little bit of rundown on this character's backstory. It's not a D&D character that I've introduced either as a player or an NPC as of yet, more of just a story character that I'm working on in the world. So I keep tweaking her personality, but I still haven't quite got it where I want it to be for interesting character dynamics. But we can get some basics down. We can definitely like work on pose and maybe an early rough sketch, but I'm not super confident on the rough sketch, truthfully. Not sure we're quite there yet with it. So we could do some basics to kick that character off. We could do another like 30-minute or maybe just a full hour timed sort of winging it, brand new concept, start to finish, see what we can come up with. It'll likely be just a little on the generic side, but you know, we'll see where we can go. Doesn't hurt to stretch those muscles at least a little bit, so to speak, and then maybe the next time that we have to wing something, we'll be a little more prepared for it. Or of course we can always do part of the stream, wrap up some art, and then jump into Stardew, because it has been a hot minute since we were over there. So lots of good options. However, before we get started, I've got one more quick little caveat apology here, because I am trying to get myself situated, is that I may be eating a little bit during this, so sorry if I'm slow to respond on anything. Yeah, but that's just about it. Wow, my hair clip fell out. Oh, no wonder it's in my face. Okay, that explains some things. Yeah, I'm a little out of sorts today. Sorry about that. It's been a long day. I think that's a fine. But, yeah, we'll just see. Things we can do on the character prep is color design too for the new character. So yeah, let's do the color on this one first, and then maybe let's build ourselves a color palette for our new one. We can show off a nice tool for that. A few different things. I see our timer is a little bit out of sorts in its placement. Let's get that sorted, and let's get that time updated. Okay. Now I need to edit it still, but 15, save. We've got our little timer there. Nice, nice and clean. Okay, pen's mapped in the right places. We've got our color layer. We can do some cleanup with it. Let's see. What else is there to do? That's just about it. I'm not even sure we'll use the full 15 minutes on color. I'm sure we can find some. Oh, right. Before we jump into that, let's actually, you know what? Let's kick off coolers already. Coolers. Love this tool. It's gotten a little more advertisement-y than it used to be, but it's still great. If you need a new color palette, this thing is stinking wonderful. Oh. Well, I mean, I think this is just the color I'm going to go with for the skin tone. Like, that's just, it just threw it at me, and that's basically, like, exactly what I wanted. Hold on. Before I commit to that, let's actually see how it looks. That was D9C5B2. D9C5B2. Boom. Skin color. Still fairly gray. I mean, I'm definitely doing that badly. Oh, I guess one other tweak I should mention since last time is that I did up the opacity of the color layer from 50 to 75 when I did the thumbnail, and I think it looks a lot more true to the actual original color scheme we wanted, without washing out all of the nice gradients and everything. So, yeah, let's just throw that on there real quick. Let's see what that actually looks like on here. Maybe be a little more vibrant, a little more, yeah. Don't necessarily want to jump into the grays. Already kind of too close to them, so I may go a little more vibrant just so that once it's actually layered on here, it counteracts back to where it was. Well, maybe not though. I think let's stick with authentic, just because I think it'll still work with the other colors a little better. D9C, well, that'd be a bold choice. 5B2. I guess I already had it up here. Oh well. Okay, then before we jump into Siphimir, we'll do some more colors there, but let's continue with this coolers tool. Because a little intro into the character we're going to do after Siphimir, and I apologize in advance that it's another green one. Look, green is my favorite color, but it really is a coincidence that my only two green characters are like the two that were the most ready here. I like strong color theory in my characters. To the extent that I can think about it. I'm not going to pretend I'm a master or anything. And it's just these two happen to be green. So, just throw it through. You can see, like, you just press spacebar and it'll just randomly generate. I mean, look, these just look great. Like, just do up a bathroom in this color scheme and it'd be awesome. Actually, I'm going to export that one. I just kind of like it. And you can just chuck in an image. Blues. And you get a nice little export. It's got the hex code values. You can change that to RGB, I think, if you want. But, I mean, there's also online converters, and that export's real nice. However, what I'm actually going to do... Let me look up, because this character's name, if you remember remember Salt, of course. I bring up Salt probably too much. But she's a fun character. It has been a while since we've drawn her on stream or anything like that. We'll get back to Salt. Don't you worry. Well, she's not the only character from that sort of story that is mineral-based. And so I'd like to introduce everyone to Olivine. And, of course, the other character who will someday actually get designed is Feldspar. I like Feldspar. Okay, so what I want to do... I like this one. Yeah, let's stick with this one. I'm just gonna steal this to my desktop real quick. Thank you, Wikipedia. Cool. On the desktop. Tools. Image picker. Browse image. Chuck this in here. And boom! Open this palette in the generator. And it takes us back to this view. We can shift things around a little bit. And again, it's not necessarily going to get you a nice final palette, but it's always good at finding things that work fairly well together and getting you started. It keeps things to fairly nice, concise palettes. If you want, like, really, like, a tight, well-designed palette, then I still recommend low spec. I know we used some of those during Sword Timber, and they're just really good, because they're well-designed by people who know what they're doing, and they're designed for pixel art, so they have a lot of very good clarity, because that's very essential in a lot of pixel art pieces. But this is really, really handy. I love coolers. Learned about it in a college class ages ago. It's really good. For the record, our assignment there was to do a limited 5-color palette project. This was actually for a 3D modeling class, but yeah, neither here nor there. And so the professor had generated a few palettes, and he's like, yeah, y'all have to stick to one of these palettes. And I ended up with a really interesting, like, bold, like, kind of blue, pink, indigo, and then a white and a light gray. It was fun to work with. But yeah, I mean, here we've got a nice olivine palette here. What I kind of want to do, really like these light ones. I like having a higher contrast one too, though. So if you want to only randomize some of them, you can use those little lock icons. And so let's honestly, I mean, these are all really good. I don't want to lose these. Also, I appreciate that both of these are called asparagus. Let's see. Hold on. If I'm just comparing these, that's really high contrast. That's like really low contrast. You know what? Let's do this one. Let's do our really bold color and let's randomize it. Okay, that's the same. That's Siphimir again, but like more mild. That's interesting. More earthy tones. Ah, a slightly colder look. I mean, look, again, you sort of get themes. Midnight green, dark purple, cerulean. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Green and white with a few blue accents on it. I'm a fan of that sort of palette. But I feel like this is a little bit off. We can look at shades and see if there's something else that'll fit well, but usually messing with these ends you up with something, yeah, that clashes in terms of saturation pretty badly. So we could get this real deep and dark. Oh, that actually works. I think we're getting... That one feels like it competes too much with this one. This one's a little better, a little more mild. I'm kind of liking this. Okay, let's try this with Midnight Green. I'm gonna export this one and just call it Olivine. For image, you can make an account on here and save palettes in here and all sorts of stuff. I used to have one, but I'll be honest, when they shifted to the more paid version, it auto lost a bunch of the palettes I'd saved. I don't think that's the kind of thing that will be happening again, but it's made me just a little more wary of saving them in the cloud, so... That said, there are plenty of tools in here that are real nice and are probably worth the pro if you're using it a lot. Let's call this Olivine 1. Cool. Reminder, Olivine is this stone. Obviously, actually, you know, gray works really well with it too. Could have gone with that. I kind of want something with a little more high contrast, which is tough. Peridot. Oh yeah, for anyone who knows Peridot, that's a gem formed from Olivine. Olivine's nice. Yeah, I wonder if we could get something a little more in the grays. I like this Midnight Green. I mean, I guess we've got these two over here that are fairly gray. Base Cadet's more of a purple. Nice one. What if we unlock both of these? Oh, that's maybe too bold. That's really dark. Ooh. I always seem to get these two together for some reason. Yeah, you start to get slightly repeats if you go too long. Yeah, like this is just a slight variant on a couple ago. Ah, okay. This is the gray I wanted. That's a nice blue. Ooh, ominous black. Full on black. Space Cadet again. They're green. Let's see. Kind of liked that moss green we had before. I think that's literally it. Dark moss green. Oh, poly, is that a place? Oh, okay, there's a couple called dark moss green. The only problem I have with it is it seems slightly, like all of these other ones have not a tint, or maybe it is a tint. It's like it's like a slight white layer has been added to it. They've been lightened. And this one doesn't, which makes it, I mean, it makes it a good contrast, but it also makes it like not quite fit as well. Maybe not that one. Lavender's lovely, but it feels neon compared to these, which is funny. Oh, yellow. I hadn't thought of, I mean, I have thought about gold, so I guess I had sort of considered, but it's a good option. Night. Blue Munsel. Ah, there we go. I kind of like this. I don't think we'd use it much, but it's kind of a nice option. Let's export this one too, and then we'll move on to, you know, other things. Let me figure out where the heck my stream viewer went. Cool. Image. Levine 2. Couple of good options there. Now let's see. Okay. And yep, we got that. That was a useful image. Now let's go back to Siphimir and this slightly mintier palette than I had intended, but I'm kind of liking it. I mean, truth be told, obviously this is the color palette that I use for my stream, if you have looked at the overlay, you know, at all. And so I guess it was always had more of a blue lean to it than I ever fully admitted, which I'm fine with. Blue and green, all good. Okay. Let me grab just a little bite to eat, and then we will keep going. Okay, timer. We've got a skin tone, sort of. We've got like kind of a pale and dusty one. That'll be fine. Got an other interesting options. I just need to find the tab where I put our lovely little timer and kick us off. Okay, we're live. 15 minutes. Let's pull out that millipen and get to business. First off, holy cow. Where's my pen? Oh, jeepers. That's why I can't see it. It's massive. Now that does explain some things. Okay, we've got a little bit more time to work with. We're not fretting about getting the whole body colored in the time frame. I like the timer constraints and I want to stick to them, but we are still very much within the time limit. And this was, if I was going to pick one thing to continue to tweak, it's definitely this. Just a little bit more effort can make it quite nice, I think. So. Is this clipped to the layer below? It's not. Right. Needs to be. Well, actually, shouldn't it be below the inks? We want, like, sharp edges. We can also always do the... I've always been a fan of the lineless style. I think it works well with the way I draw. But we're trying to do actual lined work this time, so let's leave the darn lines in there. Rough though they may be, I think they're worth including. We talked about filling all of this in shadow at one point. Keepers, that's sloppy as all get out. Holy cow, dude. Let's try to work a little less terribly than that. Yeah, honestly, and I feel it was distracting before, but it's definitely distracting with all that going on. So how's about this? Fill this in, actually fill that in too. Less worried about the boot silhouette in this particular spot. More worried about, let's make this look like it's just part of the leg bagging. We'll just make it baggy. Okay. This one. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. We had some things on the bow because I spent like no time on it at all. Genuinely a matter of seconds. We can do a little bit of cleanup here, really make this nice. Why is that going to gray behind it? Hold on. I'd expect the eraser to, you know, clear out the color layer. Oh. Gotcha, it's because the grayscale layer was also sloppy. Well, that's fine. We'll just leave it alone. If the color would actually, you know, continue along with us though, as much as that was a nice little taper. I'm okay with leaving that as it is. Do a little cleanup around the glove. How we doing on time? 11 minutes and 30? Cool, cool, cool. Little bit, just the tiniest bit less frantic than yesterday. That was yesterday. It feels like 3 or 4 days ago. It's been too busy. And it's good. You want your job to be busy. That means things are happening business-wise. That is good. Suppose I could do the interior of this in the blue. That'd be... Maybe that's what it was before. No, I think it was more of just the black from paint. Anyway, I think that's kind of works. Okay. Now, a little bit of cleanup around these emblems. Decorations, rather. A little bit of sharpness. Certainly not necessary on a timed piece like this, but it is nice when we have the option to do it. I know the hair had more than a few problems. There we go. That one might have been better without coloring it, truthfully, with the way the ink's lined up. It's okay. Again, for the most part, this isn't a piece where people are going to be digging all the way in here and like looking at all these little details. I just want to clean them up a little bit. Well, for two reasons, truthfully. Got too many colors in here. Anything I do on this is going to be kind of lost in the milieu. Do this, I suppose it's not a bad choice for that clasp. So it is technically the same as this. Okay, and then we'll get to skin tones. Don't y'all worry. I know we're under the 10-minute mark, so we'll jump in here. The fill tool's good, but it's only so good. Especially right now, jeepers creepers. Okay, fine, millipen it is. At least we got the bulk of it. I don't need to worry too much about the quality of that top line. Okay, there we go. Because it's going to be bordering another section of the same color, so... Not the boundary I'm the most worried about right now. This. Sharpen the edge on this gold a little bit. Yeah, I like what I managed to do with the tiny little bit of time on the emblem, but I think it turned out pretty good. That's line work on top of it. That kind of gets like a two-color thing going. Cool. Very happy with that. Oops, not quite all that much. Okay, and then skin tone on the face, of course. Let's see how well the fill's gonna do. Not great. I wonder what's... That would imply there's some slight color variance going on with some of this, which worries me because there shouldn't be. Let's see. No, we'll just clean it up with this, I suppose. Be a little more careful with my gradients. Not that I was using any gradients intentionally, so I need to figure out what caused that. There we go, and now we can see the point of this. We can clean up some of the very awkward green edge left by my very last second erasing. You do what you gotta do, though. Sharpen that edge. And the beige to sharpen this one. Gotta just get the green out of here. There was a time in Siphimir's character design, like back in the D&D character, where he had green skin. But I wasn't ever able to justify it, either in lore or like any of the character art the rest of the party didn't have it. So it just sort of shifted out over time. That's why I was willing to consider it. I was like, you know, we could run with this. But frankly, I think it didn't have good contrast with the rest of the character design that we've sort of done here. Like the color palette and everything, it blurred too much into it. And that's something that I actually, you know, with the limited time we have, I wanted to prioritize to some extent, making sure the character looked good. So maybe future iterations will still be green. But this one, with the pose and the way we had set it up, not planning for that, didn't super work. Granted, like, I'm not going to pretend that this hand makes a ton of sense on a good day, regardless of the green. The shape is abstract, for sure, which is not a bad thing. Fill tool gets such sharp edges. Not just the fill tool. And stuff like this is probably why there's so much, like, edge variance in the face. You're just going through with a tiny little brush and tweaking things. I know that technically there's background showing through there still. Okay, yeah, no, whoa, okay, hold on. There we go. But I'd rather have that a little better. We're coming up on 5 minutes. How we doing appearance-wise? Let's get the hand in there, and then we'll do an overall look. Well, do a little bit of last-second cleanup. Whoops, don't want that straight line there. Again, we're way too close. That line does not matter. That's okay. Too small. Slightly too large. There we go. This is a little better. And you got some stray marks on the hand, and this hand definitely, it's a dynamic and cartoony pose, which is fine. It just doesn't quite match everything else. It's sort of interesting how it turned out. Not bad, other than stray mark here, but maybe Siphimir has a mole or a freckle or something. Yeah. So I'm sort of trying to follow the improv rule of yes and with my character designs, because I mean, a lot of my characters are done through D&D, and so it's the interactions with the other players where you ultimately define the character's personality, and oftentimes their appearance too. As much as I love to be a planner, I frequently, especially with D&D, you end up having to wing certain things. And sometimes the characters that you don't overplan and have everything locked into a very clear, like, design end up being better because they're able to flex and react with the rest of the party. You need a certain level of minimum to make it work, but you don't need to have everything planned out, or else you kind of lock your options in. As a DM, I put a lot of work into making sure that I don't railroad if I can help it. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to get people on to a path so there's something for them to do, but I try to make it a very sort of, the story will end up wherever the party goes kind of thing. If y'all choose to go a different route, okay. I may have had a event planned for a different place, maybe it's going to get shifted and we'll still just update the lore and make things work. I try to keep a lot of flex in my planning. And really the same deal with my character designs, although, as I'm sure many Forever DMs are fully aware, you don't always get to use those character designs. But my party's been great, and they all enjoy DMing to some extent, or at least have been enjoying experimenting with it a bit. And so it has been quite fun to get to play some characters and sort of learn different things about them as they DM versus as their players. Been quite enjoyable. highly recommend D&D, by the way, to anyone. It's a very, okay, I mean, it varies a ton by the group of people you get, but that's sort of the point, is it's a great way to have an excuse to hang out with people consistently. You get all the benefits of story hooks and plot points, along with all the benefits of actually, you know, being able to develop a social life and have friends. Worth doing. I mean, there's millions of options out there. You don't have to do specifically D&D, but it's a good one. Real nice. Although this is also reminding me of one of my most embarrassing presentations. I was trying to do a satirical, jokey one of, like, health benefits of D&D. But then I sort of got distracted away from my original point and accidentally made an entirely too earnest health benefits of D&D speech. And it felt extremely awkward because I was like, I like it, but now I feel like I'm on the super defensive, which I didn't mean to be. The oops. That was a whoops. But it happens. Okay. Is there any interesting contrast we can add in here in this last 2 minutes? I mean, we've sort of... I'm saving the skin tone for the skin. I don't want to mess with our palette too much. Clean up some edges. Sort of. Oh, yes, there is one other thing I wanted to sort of try to clarify and streamline. Now that should definitely still be... Whoops. There we go. And it's not just... Holy cow, the bleed over. I get that that's shadow, but it should be shadow in the color of the thing it's shading on, not... Okay, there we go. But I feel like the apron look wasn't quite translating. So I'm trying to figure out if there's something that I can do... sort of tie the colors together. I don't know if filling in this patch, does that... not really. I mean, I could always try to fill it in with the green, but I feel like that wouldn't be such a great option either. And it just... Well, that's some interesting potential. It kind of clashes with the shirt on the top. And it's a really sharp, bold line in an area where I don't necessarily want a sharp, bold line. Well, that does make it look more like just like a little mini apron. Kinda works, not super practical though. Yeah. Not sold on that, despite the 20 seconds remaining. Yeah, okay. Oh, jeepers. Yeah, no, let's not do that. I like the green gloved hand. What if we made the hand the same color as this? Wait, it's more of a darker glove. Well, that was our whistle. I'm gonna allow an undo on the glove if we think that that color is bad. It does look more like a glove. It does lose a little of the charm of the accidental color palette, though. I really like the way it ties to the bow, though, so I'm thinking I'm gonna leave it. And, you know, again, once we're out of these initial 4 hours, like, we can mess with our characters and stuff later and do new art. But, I sort of like this as an opportunity to really, like, throw together a full look and style and everything in a pretty short amount of time. Now, the challenge, though, is I had some sense of Siphimir before we started doing any of these drawings, and I'd done the Pinterest search for a couple hours to really refine it. So we're still at more hours than I'd like, which gives us a couple of options today. For Olivine, that is a fairly realized character, but it's one that I want to try to have more period-accurate outfits, and so it's requiring more effort to prep. We could spend some time on Pinterest. We've already built a Cooler's color palette for Olivine and all of that, and really work with that. And that's one option. Or we could take a little pause here, and then we could just give ourselves a 1-hour timer to take a random funky object I discovered earlier today while I was on Pinterest for Olivine, and try to make an entire character based around it. And honestly, I'm feeling a little bit partial to that crazy idea. We'll see if we can do an impromptu character design. Not 1 minute. Not 1 hour, 1 minute. Reset the timer. There we go. We'll hold off before we jump into it too much, because I seriously... I don't know what this thing is. It's cool. It's very cool. It's an ancient artifact known as the Nebra Sky Disk, which, I mean, obviously, I think we're beginning to realize that when it comes to color schemes, I have a type. Definitely like me this color palette. I like the equipment it was buried with. We have the relic axe and the relic. They called them swords. Perhaps they were. My brain wants to say spear point, but I don't think that would have been from that era. Depends a lot on the size. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna trust the archaeologists on what they say. Truth be told, but it's really cool. I like the color palette. I like the interesting combination of things to try to work into a character. And for the record, I don't want to just design rando person holding this. I want to design a whole outfit sort of based on this style. Now, of course, the actual one has astrological meanings that I don't fully understand, and I don't mean like astrology, like the funky background names. You're like I think, you know, the Scorpio or some such, and that defines your personality. That it's less that, but like thinking about actual astronomy and tracking the time and the importance of being able to track time to harvests and seasons and planning and building civilization, all that fun early stuff. So we may do just a little time trial Nebra Sky Disk, make us someone with a Nebra Sky Disk outfit. I don't think it's gonna end well, truth be told, but we can try it. We'll spend a little time planning, so we may not use the full hour for it. We may have 45 minutes. We'll see. But before that, I am going to go on a slight pause, because I desperately need to get a drink of water. I highly recommend any of y'all do the same. Use the restroom, whatever you need to do. And we will pick this back up in a little bit. So, I'm thinking Nebra Sky Disk... Wow, Nebra Sky Disk Doodles shall be how we wrap this up. And maybe we'll learn a little more in the process. Or not. We'll see. Anyhow, see y'all in a couple minutes. Howdys and salutations, y'all! Sorry about the slightly longer than average wait. But I have been frantically, well, eating and drinking water for one, but also desperately trying to research this... Oh, jeepers, there's no way on earth I'm pronouncing this right. Unitis... Unitic? Unetis? Unitique? I think it's Unetic, or Unetis. Anyway, this... Yeah, the nom-noms are important. Hey, Dato, good to see ya! I've gotten on a bit of a history tangent again, as I'm wont to do, and I've discovered a new artifact from the Bronze Age, or earlier, that's very cool. We may try to do a very quick character design based on it. But before that, we were just wrapping up the Siphimir speed drawing, which is going to be the last of that series. Well, not that series, but of the Siphimir ones. So we've got something of a character design. It's fairly basic and fairly abstract, but, you know, for just a couple hours of going from, like, just a board of inspiration on Pinterest to a, you know, somewhat complete thing, I'd say, yeah, pretty good win. So we'll have to keep building on this one. Still not... I need to keep tweaking my face style. Its level of cartoon doesn't match everything else. And, that's something that I've just got to keep working on. But how are you doing? It's good to have you drop by. Let's see. I'll have to check this in the Discord at some point. Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, no, I've like messed around with Pinterest a little before, but I didn't really get into... Oh, this is an unrelated search about the history of shipping crates. I am a nerd, if that hasn't been established. Yeah, I hadn't really messed with Pinterest fully until the week-long break when I was trying to set up social media options, and it's really nice. Really nice. It's got a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. I've finally set one up for Siphimir, so we've got everything for the character Siphimir, guides and such. I'm trying to do the same for another character that we'll probably draw tomorrow. We'll see. But probably. I don't think my to-do list tomorrow is nearly as nasty as it was today. Who am I kidding? I'm sure it will be by the end of the day. Tuesdays just do that. But yeah, I can't wait to see how your drawing turns out. Oh, I need to go and, like, do more fan art for people. I get so caught up on trying to do character design. Admittedly, it's the focus of this month. But, like, I'm always like, I have no new ideas. Fan art is such a great way to still get drawing practice and, like, to get inspiration from cool stuff other people are doing. Definitely need to work on that some more. Let's see, we're on 23, 4, 17. And apparently in the middle of the word illustration. Oh yeah, I mean, everyone's always got like 6 different things that they work on. I've got an animation that I'd need to go back to at some point. Nebra Sky Disk. This is such a dumb thing. But it's fine. Okay, 2 more things. View. Import image. I should have actually saved the Nebra Sky Disk. Yeah, I can't wait to see that Naruto one when it's finished, by the way. It was looking really good. But, you know, no rush. Get to it when you can. Let's, don't need it opened. Go back to coolers a little bit, and let's build ourselves one more custom pallet. We've got 4 minutes before the hour is going to start, so we're going to have to jump in here quick. Browse image. Chuck it in there. Cool, that's a very monochrome palette. It didn't get any of the gold. Let's see. Maybe. Yeah. This one better than this one. No. This one needs to come in a little more. Right spot on the gold. This is not going to be a great palette. That's okay, though. Which I want to put to good use, truth be told. Golds are probably too close together. Thanks, because this one is the better gold. Let's golden shadow kind of going. Almost golden shadow is a nasty brown. Like tarnishing, it's mid. Gradient from gold to green just is always a little rough. Cool, we're gonna live with that. Tuck this in here. But yeah, let's see, before we go crazy on this and we kick off the timer, how have things been though, Dato? Obviously fan art is always exciting. But things going good, things going bad, chaos, hopefully not bad. Still didn't save it. Oh no, I did. Can I make a pallet in 2 minutes? The answer is no, but we're gonna try. Oh hey, happy almost birthday! Always exciting when those come around. Downloads. Nebra. There we go. Ah, that's the wrong thing. Okay, now put that away. This. It's gonna be a weird palette. Ah. Not this. We're gonna actually just minimize that. But yes, and seriously, like, major congrats on the birthday. It's always good to survive another year. And hopefully it'll be the kickoff for a better one. No. Oh, I just have the hex code, so let's just type them. 68734E. Save it. Oh no. The 68734E. But yeah, no, over here it's a little hectic. I'm trying to balance too many things, but it's been good. 7D. A 88D. .40765E. Frantic, frantic, frantic. Don't mind me. 03272D. 03272D. Such a weird color palette. D2BB6F. And for the skin tone, let's just throw somewhere more middling. Hey, nice! Always, that's not really middling, but it'll do. Always fun to add to the collection. Well, yeah. I'm just falling down history rabbit books. Or rabbit holes. Well, books. Books and rabbit holes. All of the above. But what manga are you reading? Oh, nice. Always fun to have a box set, too. One day I'll do that. Clicked the wrong button like 6 times on my phone. But yeah. It's, that's fun. See. I'm trying to think. I've been... Oh, cheapers. Oh, yeah, I mean, you gotta get everything on there, and you're like, well, this is in my search history now. Cool. Cool. I've got to stop doing that. This one. You know what? You can add the color. Cool. Oh, jeepers. Yeah, I'll allow that. Yes, it's not perfect. It definitely has flaws. This is my pencil color. This shall be my pencil. Pencil. On a vector layer. That's fine. Cool. This will be fun. The wonderful world of Pinterest. It's got everything you could ever want, and also the stuff you don't. Here we go. Nebra Sky Disk. Close that for now. Now let's kick off this timer and get moving. No Pinterest, no references, no squat. We're just gonna have to stink and do this. Oh dear. Okay. So having looked up a little bit about the culture, although not nearly enough to actually do any real representation, because I just skimmed a Wikipedia page, which is skimming a skimming of other things. So we'll see. We'll see. But let's see if we can't get an interesting pose for this character first off. Focal point, base of the neck. Try to remember. I saw an interesting guide about balance that was... My favorite thing about just browsing Pinterest random... people make those like sheets of just tips and tricks. And just like, here's a quick thing that's useful for one specific scenario. And they're great because so oftentimes those are things that, like, even if you knew it at one point, you forgot it. And so it's real handy to have. Okay. This is, however, a terrible line of action, so I need to make sure that my line of action isn't that. We'll do something like this. Looks like a chair. But I do want to actually do proportions first this time. I think we paid the price for not spending a little time on that on our drawing yesterday. Which is fine, of course, but proportions are more fun when they actually work, you know? Ooh, what we could do. Interesting opportunity. It's not a smart opportunity, but it's good to experiment. So I'm just going to kind of sketch in the pose. Let's do some foreshortening. Clear some of these out. Make sure the head needs to be a little more forward. Clear out some of these other ones. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, you know what I have been watching? So my friends and I, we've got a weekly anime watch night and then just game or chat or whatever. We've been watching just the worst stinking show ever. It's so bad. I can't it has no merits. The art is bad, the writing is bad, the pacing is bad, the story is terrible, none of the characters are likable or even have, like, very clear personalities. It misses on every single front. It's not even consistent. Like, every time they zoom out to the city they're in, it's completely different. and they keep claiming it's set in historical Earth. But the architecture ranges about 2,000 years off, and all of their historical facts are, I hope, intentionally wrong. It's so garbage. Okay. It's called Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einarjar. I cannot not recommend it enough. It's absolute travesty of history. Like, just... They show up in a city... The starting city, on the few shots where it's actually consistent and doesn't look like a different city entirely, is ancient Babylon with a Greek temple set inside of it that's about 1,700 years later. And then Renaissance castle turrets around the outer edges sometimes. The grass around the city walls, they didn't bother with proportions, and so the grass looks like it's about 30 feet tall, but, like, not like actual 30-foot tall grasses like you'd expect. It's like they took an image of a blade of grass and then just sized it up next to the city wall. It's so bad. The art is awful. The character design is, I mean, boring, but not... They put all the energy into drawing the characters. Half the time the background, it's like a bench where they just stuck a JPEG of wood and then just, like, rotoscoped it. It's so awful. But the thing that... Oh, Master of Ragnarok. Also, it's an isekai, which is not inherently bad, but they just took all the generic tropes and added nothing into it. So they just give the guy a cell phone, which he uses to Wikipedia Bronze Age strategies to beat up people. Except he's bad at it, because he says that Oda Nobunaga invented the phalanx. Or, actually, he says 2 people did, which is already a good sign. Oda Nobunaga, who was thousands of years later, and Alexander the Great, who did not invent the phalanx. It had been around for at least 700 years before him. In fact, his version was one that outmoded an old version of the phalanx. But the benefit was his group had longer spears. Turns out that's actually pretty effective. Let's see. Okay. Exaggerated pose is definitely going to be a bad choice for this short time frame, but we're gonna do it. But yeah, no, stinking Master of Ragnarok. It looks like garbage. I mean... Look, there's definitely stuff that's worse, but it's very sloppy. Like, it may have a matte image that looks nice, but then as soon as any movement happens, the whole thing just falls apart. But it's mostly just... If the art was, like... I would be much more forgiving towards the art if other stuff was better, but the fact that, like, everything is at best mediocre, it's just... Oh, jeepers. And you know they did their research because the commercial title cards are supposed to be history fun facts, but they're like 3 paragraphs of a history textbook that you get 3 seconds to read. I mean, I studied history in school. I love history. That's not gonna work. Yeah, like, there's nothing to it. And you can tell that, like, most of the people who were sane have stopped watching after episode 3. We're meme watching at this to just riff on it at this point. That angle's not looking quite right. There we go, that's better. But, like, all the same people stopped watching because the comments are getting just increasingly, like, bizarre as you go into later episodes. Like, it's just weird. There's much better shows. I've also been watching Cowboy Bebop, which is just, in every regard, better. fun. I've heard so much about it, and I've known the music for a long time. It's been fun to actually watch that one. If you want one with real janky animation, too, there's X-Arm. It's infamously janky, although it's really not much worse than Ruby Season 1, and it seems like they've got an interesting story they're trying to tell, so it might have some merit. I just haven't gone back to it yet for X-Arm. How are we doing on time? Okay, good. Well, I've been thinking of like a wizard robe, but I'm gonna have to get a little more creative with this now because this pose seems to warrant more than that. Ah, wrong layer. And this is just turning into Salt's outfit again. Not that I'm complaining about that, Salt's outfit is fine, but like, need to try to do something a little more different with it. Oh, what the heck, let's actually give a character proper pants. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on a kick of very random shows lately. And I've been watching a little bit of YouTube again. Not much, though. I've realized that even when I'm watching stuff I enjoy, like, I come out of it, like, just brain tired. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean. But, like, some stuff, like, when you finish watching, you're like, oh, that was fun. And some stuff, you're just like, oh, I feel like more tired than when I started this rest. Need to be more consistent on the foldiness of my clothes. Just doing like random folds right now, and they definitely don't follow how they should. Need to practice fabric again. Oh well. We can at least try to get an interesting style going on some of this. Let's see. I think. Well, talked about. I thought for like 12 seconds about boots, but let's. Crud, I'm gonna have to actually draw a foot if I do the sandal plan. Maybe we don't do that? Let's try it. Abstract it for now. We won't worry too much about the details. This pose has turned everything into so much of a different feel than I'd originally planned. But we'll just keep running with it. I mean, when we're on a time limit, we just adapt. For the fun of it. Oh my. I'm at just the right zoom that for whatever reason the background's getting like a very slight grid pattern on my monitor. Oh, it's kind of showing on the stream too. Interesting. I feel like the angle of the foot is not quite giving the stance the power that I want it to. Tweak that couple ways. I mean, sure, actually adjusting the angle up makes it a little more active, which is good. Yeah, that'll do for now. I'd love to, like, actually have some visibility underneath it, and I'm gonna have to adjust the perspective on this just a little bit as a result of just what we've done. I want it to look like they're not twisting away from the viewer. Hey, hey, hey. Got too many lines happening here. It's just a mess. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can recommend. Definitely Cowboy Bebop. Weirdly, like, I was worried it wouldn't hold up style-wise. Like, I've heard great things, but I also know that it is, like, going on 40 years old now. Maybe more. And sometimes even really great stuff from that long ago is just kind of hard to watch. But no, it's been good. Okay. I don't know. It's been fun. It's been very quirky, but I kind of like that it's not like being different to try to be like super rebel. Yeah, it's like Gundam, or oh jeepers, what was the one I watched? Macross. Heck, Macross. Similar vibe. Macross may have been the first anime I actually watched way back when. I think Netflix somehow had it over here in North America. I don't know why. They definitely don't anymore, and they haven't for a long time. I didn't even realize it was anime. I was just like a show, and was like, oh, cool. Space airplanes that walk. I didn't even know what anime was at the time. But, like, oh, it was really cool. It's very similar to Gundam in terms of style. But Macross was like a show that I had seen ages ago. And I couldn't tell you what it was. I didn't know any of the terms. It wasn't on Netflix anymore. And I did a lot of research, and they're like, well, there's this thing called Battletech that was made of clips from Macross, but the plot for that one didn't match. And so I had to keep chasing even further, but I did eventually figure out that it was original Macross. I'm fairly confident. I need to go watch it again, except I can't find it anywhere still. Yeah, it's definitely... that's the other thing, is I've watched the first couple episodes of the original Mobile Suit Gundam. That show is amazingly action-packed. So for kind of like a wizardy thing here. I feel like that doesn't exactly fit. Got like more of a scarecrow vibe going to him at this point. 43 minutes. Yeah, we'll just keep doing things until it works. This much hunch. It feels not like they're moving quickly, but like they're having to lug something. And the forward motion means it feels like it's something that like they're dragging behind them. Can't imagine what it would be though. That's just a large stone. Something that could loom. Be a part of it. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that's one where maybe the manga would hold up a little better. But it's hard to really know. Oh, nice. That's not the right tool at all. There we go. It's not really quite as exact either. Well, this is definitely something that I will regret doing, but I figure this is an experimental drawing on a sleepy day. Let's go all in, you know? Love to see the Gundam drawing, if you want to show it. And now we've got the art spot in the Discord server for it, so it's perfect. I'm so stuck on upperwear for this. What should this character be wearing? Okay, give me a second. I'm going to do a very quick Pinterest search. Mid-timed thing. This definitely won't backfire. That's Roman. Yeah, Pinterest, known for its historical accuracy. Also, I'm not sharing it because you never stinking know what's going to come up when you search like Bronze Age clothing or something like that. I could always go with the old big man look. Apparently something. Not 50s. Unless they mean literally the 50s instead of the 1950s. Celtic fashions, that's not at all the same region that this is from. But maybe something we could work with. They weren't big on pants though. Thank you. Yeah, let me do two things real quick. There's that big belt. Okay, cool. Secret big belt. Gold cuffs, shirt, cape. Okay. Then I'm actually going to pause the timer for a half a second while we check out Dato's awesome art. Let's crack open Discord. And you cool with me showing it on the stream? I always like to ask, just in case. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, yeah. Dang, look at this. Oh, that's so good. I love Oh, I especially love the part of the classic style that you captured really well is like the lines as part of the metal shading. Oh man, everything else is sharp. Like I mean, this just looks great. But you even captured some of the original style. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it turned out great. Dato over here. Face. Man. Super good. And yeah, I need to go... I'm always so torn between... I really want to be able to do like cutesy, like, not chibi, but just like warm and friendly art, but I also want to be able to do like actual like human looking faces, and I just combine them badly. This just looks so sharp though. Yeah, yeah, the all red color palette does a lot. Very fitting for Char. Man. Super cool. Okay. Much as I'd love to just stare at that all day, unfortunately I am still technically on a time limit, both by tragically being one of those people who has to sleep, and also not wanting to get too distracted. But yeah, the Red Comet, I'm just a couple episodes in, but I've seen him in action, and it's just, it's so cool. It's really good action for a show that's many decades old at this point. It's animated well, they use their energy well. We'll figure out head shape in a second. Let's do this with the sketch. 37 minutes, we're a little behind where I'd like to be. Get kind of like at least a half cape thing going. That'll be a little better for the era. And it'll solve a little bit of arm drawing, which I'm not going to complain about. Well, it's going to mean I have to actually, do some amount of arm drawing, which I am going to complain about. But at least this looks less, period, stinking completely wrong. Or we'll do something like that. Gotta have a torque. Gotta have it actually face the right way, though. There. Oh. Probably ought to do the same thing with this gem. Move it a little more. Ah, man. Yeah, I need to go back and watch more of the Gundam. That would be a much better use of my time than more Master of Ragnarok. Okay. Head shape. That's a little tall. I mean, we could try a cartoony head shape, but like, what kind of look are we going for? Ape language is always an adventure. Kind of like a rounded trapezoidy thing going. Maybe. Everything else isn't really that cartoony, though. I mean, it's definitely not realistic, but there's like a slight... There's so many different types of cartooning, and I feel like I do different sorts for every part of the character. Need to work on that. This will still kind of work. Getting back around to the original idea. see. We'll start with that and build off of it. See, like, this is what I mean. It's... cannot get a style that works for heckin' faces. I mean, it works for some, but it's just not at all consistent. Make the stone a little more narrow. Yeah. That way it's more centered on him. Okay. I'm gonna have to go do like more, well, face style studies I've done so much of though, and I still just, maybe that's why my faces are all over the place. Done too many different style studies and I needed to like consolidate some time ago. Nah, who knows. We're at 32 minutes. I'm just a hair behind where I'd like to be. Oops. That. Okay. I gotta fix the face a little bit. Like, this is stinking awful. Let the pose go. Just set this out of the way for now. The neck was too high anyway. Okay. Clear that. Oh, I'm still... yeah, got it. Cool. Okay. Thinking the game plan here with face. Face. Face, 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 face. Face. Maybe something more rounded? Okay. Looking at my old sketchbook, trying to see if there's something I can sort of build off of here. It's already the wrong face shape for this, I can tell, but... yeah, nope. Aces. I mean, this is where we got stuck on Mikola for a reason. It's something that I desperately need to practice. What should faces look like? I definitely desperately need to practice in a different way. I do practice it all the stinking time. Just go from one style to the next without actually figuring out how to get them to look decent. But we'll get there. One of these days. If... Well, there's a thought. I don't know if y'all can hear me frantically flipping through my sketchbook. It's possible that I'm either over cartooning or cartooning it the wrong way. So let's try something a little more still cartooned as I'll get out, but a little jowlier perhaps. Give it some character. Don't want the undercurve like that. Gonna have something we oughta... Sure, I guess. Start with that. Cool. All our noses add age. I think this was based off of like a stock image. A show or from thinking of the stock image reference site, so I need to figure out, let's at least tweak the hair and the shape a little bit. I don't want to just rip off someone's appearance. Okay. Nope, I'd rather not cut the whole layer, please. If we can avoid doing that, that would be great. I guess, much as this looks a little bit like a boy band haircut, it's also basically what Julius Caesar went for, so it's not... I mean, the longer sides were not so much him, but... You know. New paper, how boy bands were inspired by Julius Caesar. No. I don't think that one's gonna catch on. But yeah, maybe that's the secret for this style, is I need to be going for a little bit less cartooned and a little bit more real. Take my time with it, practice some more realistic style references. If that works, that'd be a heck of a breakthrough. Wait, I'm gonna put these away because not even close. But I still need that line though. Okay, we're back. We're back at it. I've got nothing in the way of headwear to... I mean, we could... It's gonna be super the wrong era if we just do... them pointed helms. Funny, but I don't want to do that. Okay. Let's move on from sketch. We've been on this phase for far too long, proportionally. Inks, quote-unquote. Go in here. Let's... What did we use last time? Was that just like the G pen? Because it worked pretty well. See why it's the default and very popular. Move the sketch layer down just a bit. We're not going to spend too much energy on this because, well, you ain't got the time for it. let's see. If we want attention on this front one, let's really lean into it. Lean into those angles. Be a little more intentional about our lines. Whoops, the eraser's still way too big. There we go. We're getting some momentum going again. Always fun. That way, yep. Figure that out. We gotta do some Gundam fan art. I need to do more fan art that's not maybe quite as insanely difficult as Elden Ring. Although I still plan to finish Mikola, but then maybe some more cartoony stuff. I had to do, you know what I had to do? Back when I very first was like learning to draw, the show I was really into at the time was She-Ra. It's an old Netflix show. Well, it's not old, it's the new one. But it was really fun. But mostly, it managed to have cartoony character design styles that didn't all look super identical. Like, they each were distinct characters designs, and I'd love to figure out how to do more of that. As lovely as that taper is, it doesn't taper to the right place. So let's... Or... Haha! See, now that's the secret. Still gotta practice it, though. Really don't know how to draw a foot in just great detail. That'll probably do, though, for craziness. There we go. We can loosen up on the line weight and everything back here. This I want to draw some attention to because it'll be like a fun little decorative piece. And the hand, less so. Yeah. Yeah, on the one hand, faces are just such a pain to draw, but, like, they do provide so much more character for the character, you know? I mean, unless you've got a character that's designed specifically, you know. But with my little, like, D&D characters, I'm like, I want to have a face. I love designs that don't have them, though. There's so many cool ones. Gotta kind of gain the contour of this a little bit. Work has ruined me. The word contour is a running joke at work because it comes up in meetings, and it's a useful word, but when you say it, you sound about as cliche as someone who's saying synergize, which not a thing people say in the workplace very much anymore. Not sure it ever was, truthfully. It became kind of like a business lingo meme. But it's become a joke, quote-unquote drinking game, although not recommended because, you know, at work. That when someone says contour, it has ruined the ability to study this kind of line for me. I need more... I should draw more OCs with faces, or like other people's OCs with and without faces, testing different styles and such. And then just like try more realistic approaches and see less attempting to stylize or put it into a specific type of face and more just drawing what I see. That might be a good idea. But yeah, no, I need to do some, if you're up for it, fan art of your OCs at some point too. They'd be fun. Oh, I forgot the rock. I forgot the rock. Yeah, I'd love to. I just need to find a couple more hours in the day, but soon I will. I may have bitten off slightly more than I can chew at work, and I have ended up on something of a business trip next week. So I won't necessarily be streaming too much. Or getting many opportunities to draw, truthfully. Hopefully soon we'll be able to do more of that again. That's why I'm trying to do more bite-sized things right now, because I'm gonna have like big gaps in streaming pretty soon. This whatever. Sketch away. 17 minutes. Okay, let's just play real fast and loose with this, shall we? Oh, I forgot that we're actually basing this on something that I should probably incorporate into the design, like, a little bit. Haha! Haha! Well, obviously we can put it on the actual amulet, but I do want to kind of keep this pattern that they've got going. I'm not going to match the actual constellations they have on here, truth be told. But, match some things. The details going in here. Of like the cluster. Okay, cool. There we go. Now, no, let's not rotate him. Now we can work on this a little bit. One more up the back of the leg on that one. Okay, that'll be kind of like enough of that, I think. And thank you. Yeah, I'd love to draw the character. I'm just sorry, I think my brain's in like 6 different places at once right now. I'm trying to keep a coherent thought going with 15 minutes left. Okay, color palette. We didn't get a skin tone again. I'm gonna have to stop not doing that. With our darker one, put this behind the inks, shall we? Oops. Our darker gold for where we need it up here. Keepers. Gonna have to clean up so much of this by hand, but this is good for getting bulk color placements. And the Millipen, really good for those other spots that didn't quite work so well with the fill tool. Wish I had better anti-aliasing on this fill tool. Cool. Yeah, I kind of thought that would happen because it filled in wrong the first time, so it was probably going to leak again the second. But, yeah, not great. Oop, oop. Okay, I guess Mr. Dude's just gonna be nope, because that's going to we're just gonna leave that for now. I'm probably gonna make the stone that color though. I knew that would happen. Actually, no, that alone is pretty dramatic. gives it a little character, but not so much that it's distracting. Gold that. Lighter green pants. It's fun. Yeah, I've probably made bad choices throughout this entire character design, but that's sort of the point of these, is it's getting practice on how to do this not Garbo. At least that's the goal. Oops. You don't want to fill in under the foot. Maybe we do. I guess that would be shoe. Oh well. Want the lighter one for this little bit right here. This can be the green again. It'll tie in the other bits. Good, 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 good. A believable hair color. Not really. That's not gonna be better. Well, let's go for something more fun. Was this supposed to be a skin tone? And then I just like golded over it? I could have sworn I had picked the skin tone at one point, but this feels so like slightly too bright for everything else. Oh, let's run with it. Yeah, like I feel like that's gonna not work so believably. Ah, yeah, it feels like a normal skin tone in here. Let's fill that down a little bit. I don't know, just thinking somewhere in there. Cool, we'll start with that. Again, no actual thought went into the background of this character at all, so. That's a hand, that's an arm, foot. That's also foot. Some additional foot. Color has become sort of our gold in the palette, which is fine. Okay, and then we've got 10 minutes left. Let's see what we can clean up on this to make it look not nearly as horrible. Hopefully. Despite the utter lack of shading or values that are in this drawing at all. Yikes. This color get added. Cool. Let's see. We want that to be this. A little bit of the color going in here. We're supporting the line work, but also kind of fighting it a little bit. Cool. That'll do. Piercing and ominous. Land. Viciously matching the hair. Don't love it. I'll have to do. Okay, so step 1 is make sure everything that I want to be gold is filled in properly, and then step 2 is clean up the borders around it. Oh, we only have to deal with 2. Oh yeah, traditional art. It's tough. It's really tough. It's fun though, in its own way, but like, yeah, it's a whole different set of challenges, isn't it? I've been trying to just go out like to nearby like parks and stuff on weekends and just like practice traditional drawing, just like observing stuff and actually trying to draw it in a sketchbook, and like dang, it's fun, and I feel like I'm improving a lot on things that aren't people. But still struggling a little bit on things that are people, because I don't want to just like creepily draw people in public. Like I'm trying to figure out a way to do that isn't creepy. How are we doing on time? 8 minutes. Cool. Solve some of the anti-aliasing. Oh good, I forgot about how much just terrible color bleed there was over here. But keep it up on the traditional though. It's tough, but it is good. And I definitely have much more of a like recognizable style and like skill and stuff with traditional than I do on this. I ought to like chuck some of those in the Discord at some point. Maybe it's because I take the time to actually observe and like think a little more. In digital, I'm always just trying to like, I'm trying to intentionally stylize it too much. I think I get caught in my own head. Okay, 7 minutes. Come on, buddy, let's keep the pace going. That vaguely is foot. A little bit of gap between, which I could probably be this color. Yeah. Okay. What next? What next? 6 minutes. Got the rock. I like the ominous shadow of the rock with a little bit of color bleed in. What we could do is like have a few faces that catch the light a little bit more. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit of a rough one for it. But I'm just trying to get, you know, rough rock shape going here. It's not really the focal point. Random ones like that without thought or alignment with the edge always seem to like turn into cheese. I'm gonna leave it. Edge there that can catch it. There that can catch some of it. Over here. It's distracting and not very good, but we'll leave it be. Because the thing I actually want to try to do, we'll see, because we've got 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Let's hide the color layer for a second. And let's do some very quick values. And these, I can really go nuts. So, well, actually, cool. We're going to have to do this a different way, but it's going to be okay. Gotta think about where shadows are. We're on this. I'm going to play so fast and loose with this. Real rough. 3 minutes. That going. I just realized I went silent there because I'm in like speed mode. Really, really awkward, not very good speed mode, but you know it's speed mode. On these, keep the shadows going on that. Fully shade in that whole bit. Do stuff with all this with the cloak. Probably gotta get the under edges of the cloak, but that's okay. We've only got 2 minutes. Try to keep this simple and painful. Okay. None of these shadows make any actual sense with the way where the rock is, but that's okay. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, with traditional, it really just, you're like, well, decision's been made. Not exactly the right planes of the face, but no, it'll do. We've got 40 seconds left. Well, that's the whistle, so I'm just going to set this to multiply. Very dramatic like that if we turn the colors back on. Well, not as horrible as it could be. Kinda wish we hadn't colored this little bit of the rock. I may allow myself that one single post-timer tweak. Whoop, not that. On the color layer. There we go. Welp. For a mad sprint from nothing into a character, that is at least, you know, a distinct design from anything we've done before. Got some different tweaks on the face. It's certainly something. Oh boy. Again, hardly genius work, but That is a brand new character with a pretty wild design and color scheme compared to what we usually do. In an hour, from literally nothing. Well, from this disc and the color palette therein. And that was the whole thing. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to keep experimenting with this, sort of like really quick character design practice, because, you know, they say iteration is the best way to reinforce a skill, and hopefully we're reinforcing the right skill. Yeah, I mean, you know, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually fairly happy with how, especially on the pants, like, I like the shadows on that. I want to try getting more angular with some of the stuff I do too, but that's a different challenge. Yeah, you know, can't get better unless we keep trying new things. That's what, but like, man, the problem with experimenting is they're not all winners. Sometimes you get stuff that's real bad. So we're just gonna keep tweaking and keep adjusting and see where we get. I'm sure tagging on YouTube, tagging this as Nebra Sky Disk is really gonna bring in a ton of clicks. Oh, I don't exactly chase SEO, do I? This is not search engine optimized. This is, like, obscure nonsense. But thank you, yeah, appreciate having you out here. Good luck on the traditional art. Love to see how that turns out, but that, I know that's a doozy. It's a whole different can of worms. I've realized I shade much better in traditional art than I do in digital. And the tilt has helped a lot with that, but it's still something I need to tweak. Oh, well, fair enough. You do you. I ain't gonna force you to turn anything in, or show anything you don't like. I ain't a teacher. But man, it's still fun. It's fun to experiment. It's fun to have people to chat with while you experiment. You know, bounce ideas off of. So yeah, I do think that's going to be it for this stream. I'm already 10 minutes over. We got a late start, so that balances out. But I got stuff I got to set up for tomorrow if we don't want to end up in the same boat where we have no ideas for Olivine. Which is a new character that I'm going to try to do a slightly longer character design on. With, you know, proportions and junk. Man, all the dynamic of this pose having, like, the crazy foreshortening is sort of undercut by the stone being so ridiculously large. If I'd made it have, like, a way more extreme vanishing point, maybe that would have been a little better. Ah, well. Thanks. I'm sure we'll come up with something. I'll leave it at that. We'll come up with something. I do want to do some more face practice. That probably won't be for next stream, but maybe later this week on my time, when I'm not packing, I can get some more of that in. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to let you go, Dato. Thank you for dropping by. I know it's pretty darn late where you are. So I hope you have a good one. I hope you get some good sleep, too. Other than that, I think that we're going to be wrapping up. Yep, have a good one. Bye, Dato. It's been fun.